Uh, Gareth, Mr. G, as I always used to call you. It's wonderful to see you, my friend, my brother from Ananabara. So I know you're looking at me and saying, how am I your brother? But it's always nice to catch up with you and chat with you. Hopefully you are well and safe on that side of the world. How are you?
Yeah, Polly, good to speak to you. It's always good to see you. We've always had good banter and good talk when we used to work together. So it's always a pleasure chatting with you. Yeah, I'm on the other side of the pond now. So you guys are just going into summer. See you in short sleeves. Winter over here, it's 5 degrees, so it's cold. We're bracing for winter, so staying warm, staying safe, staying COVID free. So yeah, all things considered, we're doing all right.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I think thanks again for this opportunity because, as you know, my line of work. Okay, professionally, I'm an engineer,
Mm,
but then there's sort of so many things that I've learned across the career path and in my work experience and life in general. That has led me to actually dig in deeper into my heart to understand actually what is the purpose of me being here on earth, because I believe that everyone
yeah,
has a particular purpose or assignment, whatever people believe in. So then what I've then discovered is a certain particular purpose in my life, which is mostly around helping people, coaching people, mentoring people, transferring the skill and keeping igniting the hope in people, because we're living in times where most people have lost hope, and the
yeah,
people are lacking answers for certain difficult situations that they are facing. So then I
mm,
see myself playing more in that role. And then what I've then started embarking on was the coaching a profession, like your life coaching,
mm,
just to beef up my skill. And so when I started my platform and my social media platform, that is what I'm embarking on, to help other people to think differently about their
yeah,
situations, or to see hope in the worst situation that they're facing. Because at times we look at chaos, then we think chaos means the end of everything.
yeah,
But
yeah,
in most
yeah,
instances, you find that in that chaos, there's some good that can come out there. So especially
yeah,
like you, the mining industry is called also quite a good metaphor to use to say when they mine, so they go through the rubble, all the stones and everything, chipping the rocks, trying to find that precious metal. And then when they
mm,
have dug, and then everything that they took out, so no one who no one, maybe between me and you, can identify that this is gold, this is diamond,
mm,
because it is messed up with this mud, with this rubble that has been dug under the underground. But then it is when that metal or that those iron ores are taken through a process which involves time, involves resource, involves a process, then it is up until that time then we realize that, whoa, this thing is actually, it's actually gold, or it's actually a very precious metal. So that same
yeah,
scenario metaphor, when we apply it in our lives, that's why I realized to say, you know what, I have gone so much fire in my life, so much test and failures in my life. But then when I
mm,
looked back, that reflection made me realize that actually my past was actually refining me, was actually molding me to who I am
yeah,
today and to do what I do today. So I think that's also a lesson to people, that when we look back, we should look actually in a positive way, to look at things that will actually fuel us to be who we are today, or even beyond towards our future. I took my time to study the concept that is known as timeline. So timeline, like it's a principle or a concept that is mostly used in crime investigations, in military, or in biology or medicine. So where they use certain events or occurrences in order to identify what has happened from the beginning to the end, or to where the crime has happened. So they follow through certain steps and certain events to say this happened, and then this caused that to happen, this caused that to happen. So I've been studying that, and it's quite fascinating a concept actually that can be applied in an individual life, or that can be applied in a business setting, or that can be applied in career or any other thing that a person wants to embark on. So that principle is quite powerful, because you help people to then identify certain things that have derailed them from their path or from their goal, or those that have given them the power and the strength to continue, or to have that endurance to continue in the journey. So that is that concept that I'm busy now studying. And I thought, who can be the best the best example to use? And I thought, I looked at my contacts, and I realized that besides the business side, which my profession or my skill as a life coach, I focus more on the people side of things. Then I thought, okay, Gareth, knowing him, so he has transformed personally as a person, knowing him for the few years that I've known him, and then also business-wise or career profession-wise, he has also transformed. So actually, the two links together, that made me to choose you as a I'll say as a prototype, or as a tool to be able to help someone out there, to be able to help someone out there who's stuck in a certain situation or a certain environment they are in, through our experiences. Because what I've learned in life is that wisdom and knowledge, sometimes we learn it not only at school or varsity or college, but we also learn it from other people. How other people went through life, how other people achieve certain things. So when we listen to certain people, or we follow certain people that are either role models, or the people that we listen through social media. So that's where we gotta experience, we gotta knowledge, we gotta experience, so that we don't repeat or reinvent the wheel of what other people went through. So I'm not sure, what's your thoughts around this concept that I've just outlined? Is it something that resonates with you, or that you've thought of, or that is maybe it's an aha moment in your life?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd say, I mean, everyone goes on, all things happen for a reason, you know? And I think when you talk about your chronological journey, or that timeline that you look at investigating, you talk about failures, you know, we don't look at it as a failure. I think in the moment we look at it as a failure, but like later on in our life, we realize that was the best thing that could have happened. You know, sometimes when you get a divorce, you think, oh, this is terrible, this is the worst thing ever. But then actually you realize, well, I had to get the divorce to find the person that I really love, you know, the person that's right for me. Or you get fired from a job, but it was actually the freedom that you needed to start the job that you're passionate about, you know. Whereas at the time you're like, oh, this is terrible, you know, this is you're so sad. But you know what? Those journeys help move you in the right direction. And your life is full of those journeys. And, you know, just you have to kind of just be like, you know what, all things are happening for a reason. I don't understand what the reason might be at the moment, but you know what, in 3 months, 6 months, a year's time, I'll look back at that, and that might be a time in my life where things changed for the better. You know, we're always looking at it from learning, and that's definitely a testament to my life. I've had many of those times where something's happened, and at the time I'm like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. But later on, I've seen that that's been actually the turning point when my life has changed for the better, you know.
Oh, that's no, that's powerful, especially like when you mentioned to say in those dark moments or the tough times, that's actually an opportunity for you to see the better out of that situation. No, that's awesome. I like that.
Absolutely.
That's powerful. Absolutely, yeah. Because now I know you touch on something that is key, especially in in the psychology or the therapist environment, where most people, like when you spoke about a divorce or losing job or losing a loved one, especially now during COVID, that is what
Yep.
most people went through, which is traumatic to some people. But then it is in us finding the purpose or in the reason of us going through that, that will actually find a breakthrough or a healing or a success or a better person that we should be. Yeah, no, thanks a lot for that. Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
powerful.
it makes you stronger. I mean, I'm not, I probably don't know the quote off by heart, but in the Chinese language, the word crisis means opportunity or risk. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So like, again, what's happening now at the moment with COVID happening and, you know, the economy the way it is and losing a job or losing a loved one or a divorce or anything like that is a crisis. It's a crisis in your life. And you can either choose to take it as an opportunity or as a risk.
yeah, yeah.
You know? So you know, just taking those points in life and then making sure that you're focusing on the positive and learning from that, enhancing that, making that a point in your life where you change your life for your better or live your best life. You know?
That's wonderful, yeah. Because what you just said now, especially on this concept of timeline. So what I've discovered is that actually this thing is about time. Because remember, we all have 24 hours in a day. So, so time actually is either a concealer of a matter, a concealer of an idea, a concealer of a success or whatever it is, but it is also a revealer. So it reveals, it either conceals that pain, it conceals that idea or whatever the goal you want to achieve, but it also reveals certain things about us. So it is through us going through that time, those situations, that we'll realize certain things about us. Yeah. So, but when I looked back at my life, that chronological events in my life, so at first, there was nothing that indicated that I will be who I am today and what I do today. But then
Yeah.
after some time, when I pondered about around that, looked at my photos and my any other videos that I had in the past years, then I realized that there is a particular trend that I've picked up, that in everything that I was doing, it was all about motivation. It was all about finding myself speaking to people, encouraging people, leading people, managing people in an environment of workspace. So I found myself still with a trend bordering within the human side of things, helping to transform lives, helping to ignite hope. So I've seen those things to say, okay, so which means throughout our lives, there are certain events or certain chronological happenings or occurrences that will actually identify actually your gift if you don't know your gift, or your passion if you don't know your passion, or your talent if you don't know your pattern, your talent. So those are the things that I've picked up to say they actually confirmed who I am today. And this, what I'm doing with you today, there's actually maybe in the next time when we connect in another talk show, I'll share that to say there's actually one particular moment. I actually have that video where actually I was talking, actually like just talking freely to people. But then that talk inspired people so much. People went like, wow, I never thought about that,
Yeah.
and so forth. So there are those events. So the question to you from me this evening is that are there certain things or events or occurrences in your past, either from you growing up or career or business, that have indicated that you will be who you are today, or you will be doing what you do today?
Mm. I mean, if I just touch base on kind of what you were talking about, your passion, and I mean, I saw that firsthand when we worked together. You know, I knew Puli, the engineer, you know, the left brain thinker, this problem solver, until there were times where you were put in an opportunity where, you know, you had to speak to people and you had to motivate and you had to inspire. And I remember sitting there going, wow, this is not the Puli I know. You know, there was an energy that came from you that, you know, obviously you could see that there was passion there from you. So when you tap into your energy and you tap into your purpose and you tap into kind of what you're good at and what you're passionate about, that comes through. You know, I didn't know that about you at the time, but when I saw that, I was just like, sure. So yeah, getting back onto your other question. If you'd asked me, you know, when I was 10 years old, what I was going to be doing, I would have said I'd be a fireman right now. You know, when I was younger, there was nothing that was set in stone that was like, this is the journey that you're on. You know, you've got the silver spoon. Here's all the money you want. You can do all this. You know, you've got the best schooling or the best. There's none of that. You know, so it's definitely not about, you know, what you have or what you don't have or the direction that you're going. It's who you are as a person. And it's the drive that you have, and it's the vision that you have. And it's definitely setting yourself those very clear objectives of what you want from your life. You know, they go and say, you know, everybody dies, but not everybody lives. Wow. You know, because some people just going with the flow, and you're not living your full life, your full potential. Okay. So it's about taking ownership about what do I want to do and how do I want to live my best life? Yeah. And what do I need to do in order for that to be happening? Now, many people go to jobs that they're not happy about. Many people in relationships that they're not happy about. You know, and it's about saying, right, what is going to make me happy? Yeah. And how do I need to achieve that? You know, and I've slowly started to see those things as I've developed in myself personally and in my career. And just saying, well, let's do things that give me energy. Yeah. Let's do things that enhance my lifestyle. Let's do things that I enjoy. Let's spend time with the people that bring me up rather than bring me down, you know? So it's just making sure that you're putting yourself in those situations. I didn't have anything that was different. I call myself strong-willed. Other people call it stubborn. But if I want something, I go for it, and I'm very determined about what I want to do, and it's very hard to change my mind sometimes. So it's a pro and it's a con. Sometimes, you know, when you're going, I want to do this thing, or I want to be this person, or I want to get this job, or marry this girl. You know, you set your mind to it, and then you achieve it. Yeah. And you know, you're relentless about it until you get it. So. That's what I've just managed to do, is just hone that skill in going, oh, I wish I was thin, or I wish I had more money, or I wish I had a bigger car or a nicer house, or a lovely lady by my arm, and go, well, what do I need to do to make that happen? Because a wish is great until you put a date to it, or until you take action. You know? Yeah. No, that's powerful, brother. You know what? I never thought that you are this powerful speaker, because you're throwing just powerful nuggets there that you've thrown. Just to recap, like when you mentioned that it's not about what you have or what you don't have, because I grew up in an environment where I didn't have. I grew up without a father, raised by a single mom. And I didn't have it all, but then it's about what do you do with what you have. So the little or the much that you have, I cannot agree with you much. And then also what you also shared there, and then I'm gonna charge you for that. where you mentioned that, you know what, sometimes in life we look at an individual person, and we label people, we classify them and put them in the box to say, this is Pule, this is Gareth, and this is how I know him. But then we don't know other side of the inner person, because that person hasn't been revealed. You remember when I spoke about time? That person is still concealed for a particular moment. So during those times, I didn't know. I couldn't say no, because immediately when I was asked to do that function, which was outside of what people in that environment knew me. So, but there was something that was ignited within me to say, this is you. This is who you are. And that is what you actually have seen
displayed at that moment. So at times, I think we need to learn as people not to box people mentally in certain class or certain group or and so forth, because as the saying say, dynamite comes in small packages.
Yeah.
So it is those little things that we pick up along the way that will also give us an indication to say, but no, man, there's something about this person.
Yeah.
There's one quote that I'm trying to also put myself out there to the prestige guys out there who have developed many quotes out there. So what I've written for myself is that I think it resonates to what you have just said, actually, to say the quote or the sentence goes as that what we do for others, it remains when we're gone, when we have left this earth. But what we do for ourselves dies with us, and nobody will remember that Gareth was here, Pule was here. So it's important, as you said now, we need to live in the environment of lifting up each other, rising up each other, because it is in that, it is in us doing that, that it will also give us a fuel to continue doing more of those kind of things. I recall actually that in your previous employment or position, you are more into this PR functions, and you do all this corporate social what do they call it? Social events.
Corporate socials.
Responsibilities to go to communities and do certain events. So, but then I think what I believe, I think we'll get. I don't want to speak ahead of myself. We'll go to that story now. That I think this is my thinking. So you can correct me. I think that is what also maybe ignited that passion in you to do what you do today, based on the name of your entity. We'll reveal that at the end of that when you talk on that point. Because actually, when I heard that you've started this initiative, you started this entity, and then when I heard about the name and then connected to what I knew you for during your employment in the workspace, then I connected the two to say, no, this is Gareth. Has always been there in you. So we need to nurture, we need to continue nurture those seeds of greatness in us, because that's where actually the wealth is at. Yeah. So that's wonderful. Yeah. I know I'm just throwing out many things. So when you then analyze, just maybe picture with me here. So you look at your timeline, maybe either from when you were now a teenager or when you are now able to think and reason and make decisions. When you look at that life timeline of your life, do you think you are close or far from the vision that you have set for yourself then?
I think I'm definitely moving towards my goal.
Okay.
It's always been a passion of mine to have my own business, to be my own boss. And yeah, I've managed to achieve that. But I think the one thing that you do realize is that when you first start setting yourself goals and you start achieving them, you start stretching yourself and you start setting bigger goals and bigger goals. So the goals that I set when I was in school, are now so small compared to where we are now. School, it was, I want to pass matric, I want to get some good grades, or I want to get into university, or I want to pass that, or get that. You achieve those goals and you look for bigger and better. So you're always striving yourself. So I'm definitely on the way to where I want to be. But again, in order to live my best life, I continuously set myself goals on a yearly basis, on a quarterly basis as well, just to make sure that I'm stretching myself, that I'm growing as a person, and motivating myself to go and achieve these goals. But I would have never guessed where I am now would have been when I was 16 or 18 years old, or even 25 years old, with where I am now.
No, that's powerful, because sometimes we make certain goals or visions or dreams at a particular stage in our lifetime, but then we make those based on who we are at that particular moment or what we have been exposed to. Okay, here's another nuggets that I want to throw to you now, and then someone out there to say, it is important what you are exposed to, because exposure brings transformation or brings change, and then that change can either be negative or positive. Yeah. So so I
Yeah.
just wanted to throw that
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
And it goes back to your point as well, Pule, with the whole failing. You know, by failing, you're getting exposed to these new things. Don't look at it as failure. You know, look at it as learning. You know,
Yeah.
look at it as a different approach.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've probably failed more than most people, but I've made more attempts at things than maybe most people. So, you know, it's just about making sure that you, again, are working in the right direction and taking those opportunities as they come about.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. So, okay, this one you don't have to answer me, but I think for the sake of someone out there, you can answer me. I think also there's a picture that I saw that, okay, this guy is answering this question actually, but let me put it out there. So still on the lifetime of your life, when you analyze it now in your mental picture, so do you think, are you living a comfortable life and a fulfilling life? And then also this is just also to take out that misconception of fulfillment or comfort, because most of us, we think when I have more money, or I'm rich, that's comfort, which sometimes is not true. Yes, we all need money, but there's different ways of defining comfort and defining fulfillment in life. Yeah. So do you think that, are you living in that frame, in that space of comfortability and fulfillment? Example, maybe let me lead you also into that answer, is doing what you enjoy and what you are passionate about, because that is what I first define comfort and fulfillment as yeah.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I'm on the journey to that. I think a lot of people, when you go fulfillment and comfort and things like that, I always wanted to have my own time back. So owning my time was important to me.
Yeah.
So success for me was not about money. It was not about a car. It was not about a house. For me, it was about time. If I wanted to take a Wednesday afternoon off and go to the beach, I wanted to be able to do that. You know, if I wanted to,
that's a picture I just spoke about.
If I wanted to go and live in another country for 3 months, yeah, then I could, you know, go and do that. So for me, that's important. That was success for me. So, and each person is different, you know.
Yeah.
More money, more problems, you know. Yeah, so money doesn't necessarily mean success. You know, more money means less time with the family, less time with the children, jealousy, you know, problems. It's what makes you happy, and being fulfilled is what makes me happy in terms of time and availability to do what I want.
Yeah. Okay.
But in order to get there, it's been a tricky path. So there again, I'll throw a quote out. It's not my quote, but I'll throw a quote out here. And someone has said, "Do what others won't, so you can live how others can't."
Oh, that's powerful. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So what would happen with me is that I knew I wanted to have my own business. So I would sacrifice hours and hours of time over the weekend to figure out how to have my own business. What could I do? Researching time. When my friends were saying, "Come for a braai, let's watch the rugby, let's go out for drinks." Yeah. And I'd be like, "I can't, guys, I've got to do the research." And they said, "You're so boring, you're so boring, you know, you never want to have fun with us. You know, do what others won't." So I was doing that then while they were out having their parties. So you can live how others can't. Okay. And again, you know, Puli, like I took 3 months off earlier this year, and I went and lived in Ibiza for 3 months, and I worked in Ibiza for 3 months. Okay. I don't know many of my other friends that are able to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's deep.
But I put the time in to do the work first, do what others can't, so that you can live how others won't. So that was very important. So I'm definitely on that journey to being fulfilled. But as I say, I always keep pushing that a little further every time I reach it. So,
that's
yeah.
that absolutely inspiring, because actually I'm also learning here. So I'm also, you just say, inspiring, igniting that hope in me to say, no, I'm still on the right track. Yeah, because
Yeah. And you're the same as well. You're learning on the weekends, you're learning on the evenings, you're passionate, you're doing all these things.
Yeah.
And you're doing it when other people don't have to be doing that. So you are positioning yourself in a position where at a later stage, you will give yourself the opportunity to do what you want with your time, or position you in a job or a family or situation. So you're doing what others won't. So you can live your life, where other people get stuck doing the day-to-day job, that they necessarily might not like.
Yeah, that's that's very deep, and then because that now moves us now to this point that I want to check with you, that in my past, so through the difficulties or the situations that I faced in life, so and then especially the negative ways that were spoken to me when I was growing up in high school, because of my background, that I will not amount to anything. I'm worthless, and so forth. So those words were playing in my heart, in my mind all the time. And then I took those words and then transformed them into fuel that fueled me to say, I told myself that I'm going to show them that I can do it. Yeah. So actually I was doing everything that I have achieved up to a certain point in time in my life. So I was being driven by those words. I was being fueled by those words to say, I need to show them that I can. So I was working so hard in proving myself, but that ultimately trained me at that particular time before I realized to say, oh no, I need to change, and otherwise I won't be able to continue with this type of fuel. So I had now to adopt a different type of fuel. So maybe other friends that are around the globe, fuel, it's a gas. Like in America, it's known as gas. Yeah. So that they understand my South African terminologies here. So I had to find that fuel or the gas that is different from what I used to use at the time. So then that was now the time where I changed my mindset, I changed my thinking, I changed my behavior to say, yes, what the people said at the time, they were right in their own mindset, but I know who I am because I decide who I am, and I decide who I want to become. So I think that also helped me now to take a different journey, to take a different fuel or gas that propelled me to still be doing what I do today. So what type of fuel or gas that was there in your life? Is it still the same fuel, or is it different to where you are now? In other words, what kept you still going besides whatever was happening in your life and whatever is happening now? What is still keep you going in your life?
Yeah, I think one of the things that kind of resonates with me, my dad always used to say, if you're sick, you seek advice from a doctor, not from a plumber. Okay? So it doesn't matter who you speak to, they'll always have an opinion. But is it the right person, and is it the right opinion?
It's powerful.
So if you're speaking to your friend and he says, no, Pule, don't start that business of yours. And you say to him, have you started a business? No, I've never started a business. Okay, fine. You're the plumber. I want to go and speak to someone who has started a business.
Yeah.
And they will most likely say, right, Pule, this is what you need to do. This, and that. And they will lift you up. Where those who have not done it before will drag you down. So it's important on who you listen to. I was teased many times during school. I being bullied as well. Growing up in school, I still do. I have dyslexia. So again, words and reading was very challenging for me. And again, it's very hard when you can't read and write and you struggle. You think there's something wrong with me. Like, why can't I process this information? And you have kids going, oh, you're stupid, you can't even read, and you think, maybe I am stupid, But as you start to develop and I've researched that more, you realize, oh, actually, people with dyslexia are some of the most successful people in the world, and it's just a type of thinking. So since I changed that thinking, I was like, I'm not an idiot. I might need to get someone to help me with writing or with reading, but actually I've got a very powerful mind that can do this, this, and this that other people can't. So it's just about being careful on who you listen to and the opinions that they have. And the best way to do that is just by surrounding yourself with the right people. Are the people that you are hanging out with, are they talking about how they better themselves, how they learn new things, how they aspire and grow as a person? Or are they talking about how they can buy the next PlayStation game, or how they can sleep all day on a Sunday and just rest? Are they pushing you up, or are they pulling you down? So sometimes it's about changing that friendship group. And I've had to do that as well. The friends you have now won't get you to where you need to be at a later stage.
No, that's powerful. You're very deep, man. No, those are powerful stuff. You're sharing very quite deep and transformational things. So I think maybe someone out there might be asking, why is this two guys talking about this? But I think throughout our lives, we learn so much that we are able to then speak life into situations and speak life into people's lives. And I think that's the intention of this this chat or this talk, to say, not that we have made it, we're still on the journey. I don't call myself I've made it, so I'm still on the journey. But then throughout that journey, there are certain things that we share, like we're sharing today with ourselves. I'm learning from you, possibly also learning from me. Someone out there will be watching or listening, will be also pick up something to say, hi, come man. If these two guys, South African, actually, African guys, could do this or could become what they are today, then what's stopping me? So I think that type of mindset, that is the whole intention that I want to achieve through this this session. So that's wonderful. I think I should have been there to listen to the old man. I think he was quite a wise man that spoke wise words in you. But that's wonderful, to have those people in your life. Yes.
There's one thing, Pauline, sorry, just to check. Again, like, you look at your life, and it's not that one big thing that happened or that one big thing that didn't happen, but it's a series of small things. Getting where you are now, it's consistency. So it's making small little changes in the right direction. You're not going to wake up on January 1st and go, right, I'm going to the gym today, I'm going to lose 10 kilograms. First of the year, it's going to the first, the second, the third, the fourth, and just, it's that consistency. So it's not about having the brightest this or the biggest amount of that. It's consistent action in the right direction that gets you to where you can be, and anyone can do that.
No, definitely. No, you're quite right, because in the engineering field, there's another study we do, process engineering. So process is everything in life. Actually, I've now picked up now that it's actually process driven. So there's certain steps that you have to do in order for you to achieve a certain thing. Even though some of us always want to take shortcuts, but we know what happens at times. You win or you lose sometimes on shortcuts. But there is a process, especially if you are a person who wants to grow and mature and be who you were created to be. So I think process also adds value into our lives at most. I think let's just say, I think I like the flow. I like how we connect in certain things, and that's wonderful. So I didn't know that there are so many things that are hidden about you, Mr. G. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So tell me also here, is there a value in keeping relationships? And what value do connections add to your life journey?
Yeah, I think absolutely. We all know the age-old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's those connections that help you. Especially now, for instance, me, I have my own business now. And some describe being a business owner as the loneliest job in the world, you know, because, you know, you're doing everything, you've got no support, you're always in trouble, and it's lonely, you know. So by having a strong network around you of supportive people, you know, is extremely powerful, you know. So that's why it's making sure, like, who do you hang out with? Who are the right people to associate with? Are they going to lift you up when you're in those dark hours of like, you know, I don't know if this business is for me. Maybe I should go back to a job. Maybe I'm tiresome. You want them to say, you can do this. You know, you just give it one more day. You can do it. As opposed to, yeah, I told you so. I knew this would never work for you. You know, this is going to fail. You know, so surrounding yourself with the right people and building those connections are hugely valuable when you are down, and they help to bring you up.
No, that's powerful. It's important because actually what we're doing today is actually a manifestation or a reality of what a relationship does or connections. Because we connected pre 2010 in South Africa World Cup, and then even today we're still connecting based on the relationship that you have built at the time. So I think you're quite good that we need to nurture these relationships, because you'll never know who you're gonna need or meet in the next time throughout your lifetime.
No, absolutely. I mean, I've got multiple different groups, Facebook groups, external groups as well, of just like, so my background is marketing. So I joined marketing groups of people that are better at marketing than I am. You know, I joined groups of people that have businesses. And they've had businesses for longer than I have. So I can learn, and they can inspire me and guide me and put me in that right direction. You know, getting someone like a coach or a mentor is also really important to help you achieve the things that you didn't need to achieve or know that you could achieve through that mindset. And again, it's, if you're in a room and you're the smartest person in that room, you're in the wrong room. You need to be you need to be in a room where you are the stupidest person, so that you can learn from everyone else and just absorb, and they can bring you up to their level. Otherwise, if you're at that top, the only way you can go is down.
No, that's very deep what you just said, because then it resonates with one of the principles. I'm a man of principles. I like throwing this out. So that I view people in three phases or three categories. So exactly what you just mentioned now, that I see that there are people that are below you as a person, and there are people that are in the same level as you or the same phase as you, and then there are also people who are above you. So, but all of them, they play a very significant role. That the people below you are the ones that are looking up to you to say, hey, Gareth, hey, Pule, so please push on, don't give up, because we're looking up to you. We want to be like you, or we want to achieve, we want to be motivated by you. So they give you that drive to continue and not never give up. So, and then you've got these people that are on the same level as you. And then these are the individuals like maybe myself and you now that encourage each other to say, we are working hard, we are trying, we are waking up every day. Let's continue, brother. Let's hold hands. And let's continue. And okay, sisters, just to be correct. Let's continue. Let's hold hands because we are people who are on the run, people who are making things happen for us. And then, so that those are the people that are on the same level of you, like the groups that you mentioned, so that are in the same space, so that the way you find encouragement and that inspiration. But then there are all those people that are above you, who have made it in life, people that you look up to say, I want to be there, or I can learn something from those people. So those are the three categories of phases of people that I've grouped for myself, because that's how I learn in life. And you've just actually depicted that or outlined that in your previous conversation. Now we're heading into the juicy, I think closer to our time now, to the juicy stuff now, which is quite exciting, that at least this will be an inspirational moment for myself and for some people out there. And then just also maybe to give you background, Gareth, that Many people have not been introduced to coaching or mentoring, so it's still a bit foreign to many people. But people don't know that they can find value, they can find help, they can find inspiration in connecting with people like coaches, either be it life coach or business coach or mentoring or and so forth. Because actually what I like and what persuaded me to follow this route is because coaching, I don't have to be an expert. So coaching,
No.
a coach doesn't need to be an expert in marketing, an expert in teaching or in nursing or in medicine or whatever field is of that particular client. But there are certain tools and techniques that are applied in order to facilitate that growth and in order to unleash that potential within that person. So that is what is coaching. So coaching is not therapy, is not counseling, is not psychology, or is not training, or is not consulting. So it's a field on its own that is there that people can tap into. And actually what we're doing now here today, maybe when you sit down sipping your coffee or some cool stuff, then you'll realize to say, wow, this was actually a coaching session in disguise, because coaching is about conversation and then releasing certain things that you never thought or think about them. So actually this is
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I am marketing myself in some way. So this is
No, but
and
it is true.
and
I mean,
some of the coaching friends out there. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, no, it is. I mean, coaching is very powerful. I've had coaching before. Again, when I was an employee, I had an employee mindset, and I needed to change that mindset to become an entrepreneur and a business owner.
Yeah.
You know, and it was very scary for me to leave a job and start my own business. What happens if I failed and stuff? So I went to a coach and I was like, help me with my mind and get me in the right position so that I can start my business. And again, a coach is very much teach a man to fish rather than give a man a fish, you know? And they empower you with these skills that you can use at a later stage in your life to deal with problems and to deal with situations.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, coaching is very valuable. I've done it before, and I continue to do it. I mean, again, all the best people in the world have coaches. You know, presidents, professional footballers, professional athletes. You know, everyone has a coach because they need to aspire and to stay at that level. You know.
Oh, definitely. You know, you're quite right, because when I read statistics, some documents or documentaries, so they also indicate that most of the best CEOs out there, when they do their annual budget, they also include that in their budgeting.
Yeah.
I need I need either a coach or a mentor, a counselor. So they put that because they know it's important. Those things add value in their business or career or even personal life or family life or whatever it is. Yeah. So I think now this heads us now to the very juicy details or the last portion of this talk. Yeah. So at least you have outlined it already. So the question that in this maybe to start on, just also to introduce the technique. So there's also a technique that is used either in coaching or mentoring. Is called a STAR technique. So STAR, like abbreviations, STAR. So that's how we look at it. So which looks at the situation that a person finds himself or herself in, and also it looks at the task or the action that a person or the objective that a person needs to embark on. Then it looks at the action steps that a person needs to take, and also lastly it looks at the results, whether what was anticipated, it is what has come out. So that is a technique. So I'm going to use that for this conversation, because I think it will come out very nicely to also teach someone out there and look at it and then can apply in their life, or we can connect and then we can see how that is applied. So applying this technique on this timeline. So can you maybe share with me, with us, people who are viewing or listening, that some of the event in your timeline that has led you to be who you are today and what you do today? Surely there is some point in your life that where you have made a big decision or a move that has transformed you to be doing what you do or to be
Yep.
who you are today. So it can be an event or an occurrence, a situation that you find yourself in. And then also you can maybe link it to where you are now. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that there's two big significant events that have happened for me in my life. I think the first one was when I resigned from the place where we used to work. And I said, right, that's it. I'm leaving the country. So I left my job and I left the country to go off to live in another country.
Yes.
And that was a big, big change in my life. And then the other change which has drastically changed my life is when I left full-time employment and I said, right, I need to take the steps into becoming an entrepreneur and a business owner rather than an employee. So those have been two big ones. So I'm not sure which one you want me to kind of go into detail on, whichever one.
Yeah, I think maybe let's touch on the maybe briefly on the first event, because I think that is key, because most people, I think you touched on this also, that they still having this employee mindset, and which I'm still have employed at the moment. So but then they've got that fear of change or fear of taking that leap, which you have taken already. So I think that event will maybe unlock some potential in some other people's life. So I'll appreciate if you can just touch on that to say, this was my situation and I told myself this, and then this was the time that I actually took that action. And then then secondly, then you can lead to say, me taking that action, like you've spoken now, to say you then went even step further, because overseas is very far, my brother. It's very far.
Yeah.
So, but far from family, far from support and everything, but you took that leap. So I think at the end you can close with that to say, this is now what I found myself in that situation, but this is what the decision that I've taken to start this entity, and then this is where I am.
Okay, no, fine. So yeah, when I left my role in South Africa, it didn't just happen overnight. It was a planning. We obviously just hosted the World Cup in South Africa, and we were all on a high. And I was in quite a senior role at the time. And the company that we both worked for was, let's just say, quite a very generous company when it came to remunerations and certain things like that, you know. So it wasn't as if it was a non-paying job. It was a very well-kept job. Not a lot of people would leave. So I thought to myself, you know what, there's more to life than just being in one particular job. I want to explore the world. I want to see things. I want to live my best life. So I took a decision one day and I said, right, I'm going to give myself 1 year to either get promoted or to get another job. And if those things don't happen within a year, I'm going to hand my resignation in. Okay. And that was a logical decision. And I set a date, and the date was the end of March 2014. I just put it in there, and I said that was it. And now the time was ticking. And throughout that year, I worked really hard. I was like, I don't want to leave. I don't have to leave. Let me try and see if I can stay or get promoted or things like that. And unfortunately, fortunately, it came to the time where I wasn't promoted. I didn't have a new job. And I had to just hand the resignation in. And I had to follow through on my actions, on my goals, because I'd set that commitment. And I wrote the letter and I handed it in. And my boss said, why are you doing it? And I said, well, I set a goal. Like, it doesn't make sense. And everyone was like, it doesn't make sense. What are you doing? So I left that job, and everyone said, well, do you have another job? Are you going to somewhere better? And I said, well, I'm going to leave the country. I do not have another job. I do not have a place to stay, and I have very little savings. And everyone said, you're mad, you're crazy. What are you doing? Why are you leaving this really nice job for, you could be sleeping on a park bench somewhere. And I said, you know what? I know that that's the right decision. That's where I need to be, you know? And I came over to, I'm in England now, and I moved over here. And I ended up sleeping on people's floors, sleeping on a couch. I had no job for about 3-4 months, and it was hard. And you're sitting there thinking, was that the right decision? You sell up everything, the pounds are very expensive, especially when you've got South African rand, they don't go very far. So I had very little money when I went over there, sleeping on people's floors, eating 2-minute noodles, and I had no job for 4 months. So what I did was I was volunteering my time in charity stores and in local communities just to get some sort of experience and just to get my name out there. And I got lucky, and I got into a role that was really nice. It was for American Express. Again, my hard work, my determination, my passion, my drive took me into this role where I was actually getting a good role in a good company. And I said, right, I've arrived. I've got a job now. I can afford to rent somewhere and buy food and clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that's where it slowly started, and it just went progressively better and better and better from there. And I've moved from one job to another job to another job, constantly just pushing myself. And yeah, it's given me wonderful opportunities. I've been able to travel the world. I've met amazing people. I've had wonderful opportunities, and it's been a great decision. I do miss South Africa, but I think it's been put me in the right position to where I am now. So I'm happy.
No, that's wonderful. No, like I don't even want to mess up that story, that juicy. I was just like gluing and then listening to your story. It's so powerful, so loaded. I think I'm also gonna listen to it again and then just learn. The key thing that I've picked up there, which is also something that resonates with me, is that never despise the small beginnings. Because at times we all look for this big thing, and then if it's not happening, people get frustrated, get depressed, and whatever the case might be. But it is in those small beginnings, like you just said it very nicely. It is in those small beginnings where the bigger things are being groomed, are being crafted from, and then you've displayed that to be where you are. I think, my friend, in closing, I think I wouldn't do justice to honor you by just, if you can outline to us that you've started this entity. What is the name? I know people are going to scream when they hear the name. And what is the role of that agency? Because actually, I don't have the copy of my book here. I was going to just show you that also. Most of the things that I'm sharing today with you and everyone out there, so I've put them in a book, autobiography. So about my life, not only just to expose myself. Yes, it's exposing myself, but I know there is someone out there who will be interested or will be inspired to say, if this guy has went through this, so I can also do it. Yeah. So that's what inspired the most of my social media platform name, Breathing Beyond, because the title of my book is Breathing Beyond My Circumstances, because I have gone through so many situations and circumstances that nearly choked me to breathe my last breath. I literally say I was going to breathe my last breath. But then I had a wake-up call to say, no, you can't die now, because there's still more you have to do. There's still people that needs that gift that is in you. So that's why even today, I'm continuing to breathe beyond my circumstances. Though that's just a background around the name that I normally use on my social media platform, and then also the book that I've written around that story of my life to inspire people, because I believe there are still people who are stuck in that same situation that I was in. So that is somehow how I can inspire people. So let me hear with you in closing. Give you this opportunity to market yourself, and then also to inspire people. Also on the naming regime, how did you come with that name here? Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, as I say, when I arrived here, I was working for people, and again, I always knew that I wanted to have my own business. So again, I took that time where I would set weekends and learn how to start my own business, and I would craft and I would do things, and I sacrificed. I saved money to start my own business. I put all the hours in because I knew that was something that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I would constantly learn, constantly learn and just expose yourself to new things. Go on YouTube, listen to things for free. You can learn so much from free resources out there. And it got to a stage where I was in this business and I was getting contacted by people trying to pitch for business, and I knew more than they did just by listening and consistency and just learning all the time. And I was like, now is the time I have to start this business of mine. So I sat down and I created this digital marketing agency. So the company, it's called Got Legs Digital. Okay. There's two parts to the business. So the first part is a commercial side. So we help businesses to get legs and grow. Everyone knows the saying, "Oh, that's got legs. This has got legs." It's a marketing term. And that means money, plus customers generating and things like that. So that's the commercial element. But then we've also got the charitable element as well. So anyone who works with us as a business and we help them get legs, we donate prosthetic legs to amputee survivors in Africa.
Yeah.
And we help them regain their independence. Because as we know, and again, me being from South Africa and kind of moving over to England, we know that, disabilities in Africa, it's hard. People need employment, they need to be able to go to schools, things like that. So we support those people with disabilities by providing them prosthetic legs to help them provide for their families and things like that. So really great cause. We've donated over 237 pairs of legs over the last 2 years to people. And that's just by companies working with us.
Yeah.
We generate a percentage of our profits to helping those back home. And that's what gets us out of bed. That's our motivator. That's what moves us.
Yeah.
We don't have KPIs, key performance indicators. We have KMIs, which is key moments of impact.
Wow.
So it's how many pairs of legs did we donate this week, this year, this month? Yeah. Wow, we've changed the lives of 237 people, and that's powerful.
No, that's powerful. You nearly brought me to tears here. So I can imagine what you went through maybe when you came up with that name, because I can feel you, especially being from South Africa, knowing Africa based on what you shared. I think that's very deep. And then I just you nearly brought me into tears there. So I appreciate you sharing that personal story. But the key thing is not only us, maybe between me and you, to expose ourselves, but it is to inspire people. And then also, I'm gonna give you this as a free issue, my quote, but just mention my name, because what your entity business is doing is exactly that quote of mine, to say what we do for others remains when we are gone and left, but what we do for ourselves dies with us, and we've forgotten that we've ever existed here. So, Mr. Gareth Bain, my friend, it's been wonderful time, and I always miss you, but I know now where to get you. I know the corner now where to get you. Yes. Just tell me now, if someone from South Africa or anywhere around the world saying, I've heard your story and I want to partner with you, I want to connect you, where can people get in contact with you?
Yeah, I mean, they can find me on Facebook. It's Gareth Bain on Facebook. You can visit the website if you like. So it's gotlegsdigital.com. So very simple, just got legs. I've got legs, you've got legs. There we go. Easy thing to remember. Go onto the website, have a look on there. We're all on the social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Find us out there. If you want to support the cause, that's great. Amazing. yeah, if you need any advice or guidance or help, and if we can be of any assistance, we're always happy to speak to people, so, and help where we can.
No, that's wonderful. No, I appreciate your time. Pass my regards to your wife, and so we'll connect again. I think we'll do more of this in the coming year, 2022. Hopefully, you'll have a very nice but cold festive that side of the
terrible.
world. I can imagine. Yeah. So, Gareth, this is from me, Pule Muloi, Breathing Beyond with Pule Muloi. And then this was a very lovely connection with God Legs Digital. So friends, brothers, sisters, anyone out there, please connect with Gareth, connect with myself, my social media platform, Breathing Beyond, or else you can search for Pule Moloi, then we'll connect and then we can continue from there. Thank you for your time. And then this is Pule signing out, igniting hope and transforming lives. Thank you, Mr. Bain.
Thanks very much, Pule. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.